Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only horror movie review podcast that wonders why the intro music changed from last time we talked to you. But with that being said, and thank you to John Williams for the new score, let's find out what we're looking at tonight. Tonight we review The Deliverance. The Deliverance is a 2024 American supernatural horror film directed by Lee Daniels and written by David Coggeshall and Elijah Bynum. Inspired by the Ammons haunting case, it stars Andra with Caleb McLaughlin, Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, Tasha Smith, Omar Epps, Monique, and Glenn Close. In The Deliverance, a family living in a home in Indiana discovers strange demonic occurrences that convince them and the community that the house is a portal to hell. Welcome. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Sorry we've been gone so long. But hi, Carly. Hi, Brooke.
Hi.
Hi, Carly. I noticed you specifically backstage. Like, is that the same intro?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your facial expression.
What?
I was like, what the hell is that?
I was like, and I think it just auto updated because I had nothing to do with it. But that being said, welcome in asking the first question of who picked this film.
I did.
I
did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a random pick, honestly. I was just looking for a horror movie and I saw Glenn Close was in this and I was like, oh, okay. Let's go for this one. And I wasn't sorry. So
always good to not be sorry.
Yes. Okay. Yes. But I want to know what Brooke thought.
I liked the movie. It was decent. I think Glenn Close did a magnificent job. She did great. And I forgot the woman's name, Day. She did good too. And the kids did great too. Especially the little boy. So I like their performances.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the cast was spectacular. I thought the cinematography was fantastic. Although one thing annoyed me. We'll talk about that later. Just one thing about cinematography that bothered me.
Okay.
It had a lot of vibes reminiscent to other horror flicks that we've seen, whether it's The Conjuring, Amityville Horror. A lot of it's just retreading. I did some analysis and research of the actual case, the Ammons haunting case in Gary. It's nothing like this film. At all. There's no Glenn Close white character. They changed the race of the characters. It's just like, this seemed to be like unnecessary changes. And all I could find is that, yes, this woman claims that all of them were possessed at one time or another. Somebody levitated at one time or another. And I was like, wow, they really embellished the crap on this to make it a film, which I super enjoyed. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, oh man, I really want to know about the true haunting. And it was fairly bare bones, other than the fact that they did knock down the house in 2016. Yeah. And when you see a picture of the house, it looks nothing like the freaking brownstone or whatever it is that you're looking at in the film. I'm like, I think they did a better job than the actual home was. But
yes.
I digress. But Carly, what were your thoughts?
Well, that, like you both said, the acting was superb. It really was. I had a hard time sympathizing with anybody in the beginning. It was, other than the kids, it was, the adults were all just horrible. They were horrible and horrible to each other. And the mom, the things that she's done and the things she's been accused of, it's not good. But as it went on, and you find out like the daughter paid for the chemo, and it just, as it went on, I started feeling more for the characters, which is a good thing, because I would not want to go into the end of this not giving a shit, right?
It's true. It's true. They're very unsympathetic. I mean, I think you feel for anybody, you feel for the kids, but even the daughter's a little sassy, like when they're doing all the braid on the braid on the braid kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she like, and everybody's just kind of like doing their own thing. The older brother's a little pissed off about the living situation. I mean, the only one who really doesn't have an attitude that much is the youngest kid.
Yeah.
But man, he's got his own problems, to say the least. But like, let's get down brass tacks. So go right into it. What were your favorite moments?
Oh,
Carly, we'll start with you.
What? Start with me?
Yeah. I can't start with Brooke. She's got dog problems over at her side.
She's doing too much right now.
I just see like
when she came home and the crucifix was on fire and her mother was gone. That got me. That got me.
I agree. I mean, I will say, going back, it's a long film. It's over 2 hours. And there seemed to be a lot of stuff sprinkled in there to kind of give you a flavor of why everybody is the way they is. But even the birthday party for the daughter, Angel's there, Omar Epps is there, and there's Omar Epps and Glenn Close are getting chummy, and then Angel's teaching the kids how to play dice, but then she gets pissed off at Ebony. I mean, it just seemed like a lot of like tension and drama just for the sake of tension and drama. I don't know if it propelled the story forward. But I gotta say, my favorite part was the bathtub scene.
Yes.
His face expression.
He was start to finish. I mean, start to finish that scene, even when she goes away because she's answering the phone and then comes back. That entire sequence, it shows a lot of things. First of all, Ma, can you answer the phone? And nobody cares enough to answer the phone. And so she has to run downstairs. First of all, we all know never leave a child in the tub. But I mean, obviously, I think he would have been fine had other forces not been involved to make him not tread water. But yeah, I think that in the kid's expression at the end and the brother. I think like if anything like was turning like just get me all anxious, it was that scene.
Oh yeah,
I have two. So the first one is when the little boy poops in his hand and throws it at the teacher's face. I was like, oh, like it was like all over mouth and stuff. I was like, that's gross.
I mean, that was a handful. That kid must have been saving up because that was a lot being chucked at
the kid's expression. They was just like, and then the little girl, she was bloody, and then the other guy was just laughing. I'm like, wow.
My question is what I have a question about the sister. The rat choir, they're singing. She goes up to the band director or choir director, whispers to him. Yeah. I don't kind of get like, did she say something really off-putting? Because everybody's scattered. It wasn't just like, oh, you go and take care of those. Like the entire choir just like bailed as if something really terrible had happened.
Right.
So did I miss something in that?
I don't know. I was wondering about that too.
Okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't me because I'm like, why is everybody bailing like she's Carrie from, Sissy Spacek from Carrie? It's like, it was just like, hey, good.
Then when you go forward and you see her, she's got, when they're doing an exam and stuff and she's in the stirrups, I'm like, okay, so that's not a normal thing. What did she do? What happened?
Right. Yeah, I think something
and you never find out.
Yeah, and I think that maybe they edited something else that was like, hey, in order to get the rating you want, we have to cut that part of the scene. But yeah, there was no reason like for her to have her like quote unquote, let's say first period. Yeah. And then everybody like, like it would just seem like very uneven. So I really wasn't sure what was happening there. But yeah, the older brother laughing in class about the AIDS
That's
epidemic.
Caleb McLaughlin. He was from Stranger Things.
Yep.
Really?
He looks so grown up
he's
now.
Lucas.
Wow! Holy crap! I mean, he was like this big back in the day. I guess that just shows you how long Stranger Things haven't been on. You know, so holy cow! Wow.
Shirley says hi.
Hi, Shirley.
Hi, Shirley.
So also, let's get into your pros and cons. I mean, we're hearing all the pros from Brooke. She had two favorites. Now we're gonna make you do some cons. So lay it on us.
My con, I would say that we didn't get much of a backstory on about the house, like what possessed it. Like I would like to hear a backstory on it, but we did get to see the history of the person that lived there before them.
Right. Very DeFeo of them. It's like, oh look. I mean, that flashback was super creepy, by the way. Yeah, when that lady's telling the story, and then the axe falls down, and then no, and then the daughter comes in the room. It's like,
man.
Okay, I see how this is going. You wanted more backstory. Any other pros? She's like,
yes, my pros. I don't know. I like the whole movie. I like the storyline, so that's my pro. The storyline.
All right. Well, I will go next because I also. Well, I mean, I have a problem with the story. I think it could have been tighter. It was definitely sensationalized versus real events, which obviously they usually are. There was a lot of things that were just like, I don't know, they're very uneven. Like she's drinking at the bar, or she ate something bad and she's fighting her own demons, walking home, and the son's saving up money. It's like there's a lot of like things strung together that, like, I guess if you look at it individually, it was kind of like very, I don't know, unconnected. So I just thought we got a little bit more than we needed to. We didn't have to see the whole like I'm drunk at my daughter's party and like what's going on. And then what happened when she went up with a baseball bat?
Yeah.
Up in the kids' rooms. Like I never had a satisfactory answer from anybody about what actually happened. No. Was she blacked out? Was she possessed? Did she try to beat them? I mean, there was like a lot of things that I guess we're not supposed to have answers to, but it just like it was so vague. You even us as an audience couldn't really determine what could have happened. So I think I would have liked a little more, you know, spoon feed me. My biggest complaint, while I love the cinematography, I love the set design, I love the story, I love the characters, the actors. When at the end Monique is leaving the house, and Ebony gives her the crucifix necklace in the little case, and then they walk out and they hug, and then it like stops, like they do like a freeze frame ending. I'm like, where this? So I was like, first of all, it's very 1970s horror films were like that weird, like we're gonna freeze frame and then pan out the freeze frame. I was like, why did you do that? That made no sense. Of like everything you did, why was that your choice?
Right.
Like, it really like threw me out of the story, even though it was the end. I was like, that was like a terrible choice. It was almost like we ran out of footage and we want to make another 30 seconds. So we're just gonna stretch out this freeze frame for some reason. That was my biggest complaint, was just that choice was just so odd to me. And then pros, like I said, I love the characters. I love the actors, actresses that embody these characters. I love how Glenn Close was super dolled up with, you know, always keeping herself together. And then when we see her with, you know, the no hair, and then when she was quote unquote embodying of the demon, like with the teeth. Oh yeah. I mean, it was like, wow, they were able to just use her with like the falling out hair and the fangs in such great juxtaposition of like use something that was real plus something that was demonic. I thought that was very cool.
That was. I like that part too. Well, my cons. This is going to sound very nitpicky.
I was nitpicky. Don't worry about it.
No, there's just the scene where she's got the cross and she's closing the lid. There was something about the way that was filmed that looked wrong. It just looked wrong.
I think I know what you're talking about. It, yeah, it looked like a weird, like it was almost like like, I give this to you as a gift that you'll find God, and then the person's like, man, whatever.
Yeah.
It's almost like a
Yeah,
rejection of like, I reject everything you just gave me.
And the way that it was shot or the way that it was edited or whatever, it wasn't cohesive with the rest of the film. Just that stupid little closing of the box. That's my con.
I agree.
Pro,
I agree.
My pro, oh God, I really have to say the cast. You know, we are glowing on them because they were amazing, and the kids. I'm always when kids can act that well, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And with the little boy when he was possessed, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I wonder what the director. I wonder what the director says to the little kid. Like, all right, what I want you to do is stare at me like you have to take a big poop. Because like I like, what do you tell a kid to like make that just, I don't know, just like ghostly, ghastly face. Look? Yeah.
And then the you're the reason your mother is dead.
Oh. Yeah, I tell you what, the Conjuring. I kind of got annoyed at and again, maybe it's because we watch so many horror movies, right? Exactly. Corley knows. It's like when we say, it's like, oh, in The Conjuring, the mother saw the frame picture and remember them going to the beach, and all those good feelings allowed her to expel the demon. And it was very much like that.
Yes.
Some ways of like, the flashback of all the good parts of the film, like nice, light, lit, bright. And that was supposed to bring the spirit of God into her and expel the demon back to a hole of whence it came. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but maybe I'm just too jaded these days. That's like, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that before. I mean, if that's the story, but just never rent a place with a big hole in the basement. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I don't think, did she even know it was down there? Because I didn't see her go down there once until the end of the movie.
No, I just think it's hilarious that anytime we hear flies buzzing, we all know it must be stanky.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all you need. You don't need any kind of nothing else. You have to see nothing. All you gotta do is like, ooh, I don't want to go down there. That's gross. But when the guy went down to get the cat, he didn't make no commentary about there being a hole to hell down there. So no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He just wanted $60. Just give me my money. That's all I'm saying.
All right. He got it.
He got it. Well, I mean, but man,
and the cat ended up not being the problem.
No, right. The cat is never the problem. I lied. The cat is always the problem. But with that, let's rate this thing. Sorry, that's my sound effect. So Carly, who is going first with rating?
You are.
What? So I had to write it down. I will tell you, I saw this film many moons ago, probably middle of last year, because Judy and I were watching it, and I kept. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I don't need to watch it again. But I did. I watched it yesterday and today. And really, I'm glad I did, because I completely forgot about the lady who was like following them and saying, I was here trying to save the last family. I totally forgot about her. That's how memorable she was. Apparently, if you're a failure in a film, I'm going to forget about you. But that being said, I will say I give this. Man, it's pretty solid. It's got, it's got some things that could have been tightened up a little bit, but I'm going to give it like a 4.25. You're going to need me.
Oh. Box. Yes. What about you, Brooke?
I'm going to give it a 4.0. Oh. You're nappy pussy. No, I'm just I'm kidding.
Oh, you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding, man. To hear those words come out of Glenn Close's mouth,
I know.
Demon or not, I was like, no.
Oh, I was like, damn. Okay. My turn. Well, I mean, I know I've talked about it, but A solid 4. A solid 4. Burning crucifixes.
Burning.
Oh, yeah, on the
burn.
wall.
Burning. Oh, yeah.
So, all right. So we have some time. So
Okay.
I will ask this question.
Mhm.
What kept it from being a 5? Like, if you had to change one thing, like, what would you want to see different?
Well, the ending was a little choppy.
Like the ending, or the pre-Monique ending, or the post-Monique ending?
Yeah.
Well, during Monique ending, that it kind of took you out of it a little bit. It wasn't the ending that I thought we were going to get. You know, I mean, I realized that they fast forwarded 6 months,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and good for them. But I don't know. I guess I was just disappointed that I didn't get much about, the consequences and everything that happened after. You didn't hear about what happened after.
They went to Philly. What else you want to know?
The
The house was left vacant.
No, I mean yeah. That in between,
in the 6-month period. Got it. I mean, I will say I was a little underwhelmed about the, how they always, when it's based on a true something, they give you the little paragraph or paragraphs of whatever. I'm like, really? That's it? This is why I wanted to look.
2 sentences.
Yeah, this is why I looked it up. It's like, and then they tore down the building, and I'm like, wow, what else happened? I'm like, okay, vandalism and seances in the front yard.
Yeah.
That was it. And there was this guy who bought the property just so he could do a documentary on it, and then he tore it down. So I'm like, it wasn't like this city tore it down. It's like this guy was like, I'm buying a property, but I'm gonna just do this little thing, and then we'll tear it down as like a big homage to its demonic possessions, I guess. So I was a little disappointing. Like, really, people had seances thinking something creepy's going on there. Like,
I didn't realize that it was based on something until they did like the paragraphs after. I was like, oh, okay. Dedicating it to this woman's memory, and
Ooh.
But it doesn't sound like it was much of anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that whatever the story that came out of it, like, it was really a kernel that created this very rich story, which I think probably is far superior than the truth, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, but what about you, Brick? You gave it a 4. What would have made it better?
I still stick to my backstory. I wanted to know, like why the house is possessed, like who, like I want to know the story.
Okay. Yeah, why is there a hole to hell in the basement kind of thing? Like what prompted that? But again, like Amityville Horror, we never know the reason why of the demonic part. We only know that, tragedy befell, and then the following family has the same tragedies. So yeah, I mean, when it comes from real life,
it's like some kind of mental illness is going on in their brain, like to make them act out like that. Maybe like schizophrenia or something.
I think it's radon poisoning, radon gas poisoning. It was natural gas sewer line. It just the noxious fumes made him crazy. I think.
Well, what made you take off that 0.75?
I will say that weird ending. Which again, and then also like they put in too much angst. Like, I didn't need to have 50 people joining forces to like kind of start nitpicking at the storyline why Ebony was as disgruntled as she was. There seemed like a weirdly uneven. Like, I can understand the kids that are uprooted and having to move. I mean, I think we've all have felt like what it's like to actually be uprooted. So I understand why they'd be a little irritated, but it's just like everybody was blowing up at everything all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they explained it. Most of it was explained. But in reality, if you think about the older son with the money was taken by the mother. Then they had a fight. Then she gives the money back. Then he pays for the the fumigator guy to take the cat away. And that's it. That was the end of the tiff. So in some ways, it was like they generated or created drama just to take it away, just to like almost give Ebony something to annoy her to take her to the next level as we went along. So there were some things that just were put in and had no real cause or really purpose, like Angel yelling at Angel as they're leaving the party. You're like, why are we partying? Why am I up on all these guys? Just like, all right, what was the point of all that? It was like it really just
she was
like
a bad mom.
Yeah, I guess.
Bad mom, but she was just like irresponsible.
Yeah, I just think that we could have got that just as much of that between Glenn Close and her.
Yeah,
I think even that, like, you know, I know you were a terrible mother, and then Glenn Close looking down on her about, well, you ain't the best either. I mean, that could have been enough for me. I didn't need all these other little things sprinkled in to one, waste time. One, like, keep going, like adding bloat to the story. I think we got all that within just a couple tiffs or fights between the two of them, honestly. So anyway, that's why I didn't give it a full 5.
Then we wouldn't have, I mean, if they were just cutting and cutting and cutting, we wouldn't have a movie. So
it was still a long movie, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was long.
It was long. And like I said, a lot of that was just extraneous. I mean, yeah, we kind of add some, you know, beef to the broth, if you will, but something just seemed like they're gone. They're gone. It was like, okay, Omar Epps, he gets seduced by Glenn Close. He comes to the party, gone. I mean, it's just like, okay, what was the purpose of introducing? And then, everybody evaporates into the ether. So, anyway, but that's enough of this one. Thank you, Carly. But what's the next one? Who's in charge of next week?
You.
I was told it was me, and I had something all lined up, and then I found out that thanks to Brooke, she remembered I picked something else offline. So we're gonna do Separation, and it is on Tubi, according to Brooke. So I'm excited to see this movie because I've seen this one mezzanine stairway scene of like the creature and some person trying to get away, and he's got these long spindly arms, and he looks funny, and he's like a human spider. And I've seen it on Facebook Reels. I've seen it on Reels and Instagram and Facebook videos. I see it all the time, and I never knew what it was. And so for that scene alone is why I'm picking this film. So,
okay. Well, hopefully that scene alone is not the
only good scene. Yeah, I mean, I hope not. Brooke, have you seen it? Did you say you saw it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Am I going to be disappointed?
What's that? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not telling you.
All right. So I'm going to find out my disappointment all by myself. Okay. I'm okay with that. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to see something just to know not to see it again.
You didn't want to see it.
Well, you know what? Horror films, good or bad, I'm always a fan of. It could be the worst thing ever, and for some reason, I just love it. I love the genre, so that's why we're doing this show, right? So, right, that. Okay. Well, Carly, thank you for choosing this. We appreciate it. Brooke, our love and hearts go out to you. Our lovely Brooke has gone through it lately, and without getting into it, we love you and send you all our positive forces your way. And we will be here next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Hopefully I won't get copyright infringement and sued for saying that. Hey, if I do, I do. What am I going to do? All right. But love to you both, Carly. Stay amazing. And Brooke, stay strong. Love you. And for everybody else who's joining us and staying tuned with us, just remember we're always here to scare you later.